One Zambia, One Nation. Thank you for joining us on Zanis News. To present the news, my name is Faith Katai. The headlines. President Hichilema has called for concerted efforts in fighting corruption. RDA concerned with poor workmanship on Isoka Muyombo Road. Zambia Development Agency expresses happiness with 50 billion investment, plus 6 Mansa accident victims put to rest. The news in detail. President Hakainde Hichilema says the establishment of the Lusaka International Arbitration Center will provide a platform for resolution of commercial and international disputes. President Hichilema notes that the center benefits international status that is expected to help the country improve not only commercial disputes, but also the quality of transactions. The head of state was speaking when he officially launched the Lusaka International Arbitration Center in Lusaka. Wupe Sendwe gives us more in the following report.
Zambia has for a long time been facing challenges with an alternative dispute resolution system, especially for commercial transactions. This is about to become a thing of the past as the Lusaka International Arbitration Center has been established to resolve arbitration matters within the country.
Lusaka International Arbitration Center, as earlier indicated, was incorporated as an alternative dispute resolution administration body by the private sector associations, by, among others, the Law Association of Zambia, the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, Zambian branch, the Zambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Zambia Chamber of Mines, the Bankers Association of Zambia, Engineering Institution of Zambia, Association of Consulting Engineers of Zambia, Italian Business Club, the French Business Circle, and the Zambia Association of Manufacturers.
Officially launching the institution in Lusaka today, President Hakainde Hichilema says he expects more value from the center, especially in the area of transactional negotiations.
So we expect this center, we believe it will discharge its duty to help us refine the frameworks. To unravel Mopani, we had to negotiate the Glencore debt alone from $1.7 billion to $500 million. So my messaging here is that this center must also help us, chair and vice chair and guarantors, to even help us improve the quality of contracts that we engage in, to anticipate, to proactively mitigate against the pitfalls of entering into agreements and contracts that on day one are flawed, clearly flawed. Their interpretation is ambiguous and, to say the least, extremely expensive. Those who will be arbitrating here, those who will be resolving conflicts here, challenges here, must retain that professionalism, that integrity, and the feeling of satisfaction by clients once they've come through this process.
Minister of Justice Mulambo Haimbe states that the Arbitration Center opens a new chapter in Zambia's journey of becoming a regional center for dispute resolution.
This is a significant milestone not only for the alternative dispute resolution community, but also for Zambia as a whole. Mr. President, the LIAC represents a new chapter in Zambia's journey towards becoming a leading center for commercial dispute resolution in Africa and beyond. It is also a demonstration of the commitment of the business community and the legal profession, as well as other partners, to finding solutions to problems that they face.
For too long, businesses operating in Zambia, both domestic and international, have faced challenges in resolving commercial disputes through traditional court systems. These delays and complexities have undoubtedly hindered investment and economic growth in our country. The LIAC, a bone for business, Your Excellency, as I may refer to it, the establishment of the LIAC addresses these very concerns. It provides a natural and expeditious forum for businesses to operate.
And the local legal profession, assured of first-hand experience that will support the legal system in the country.
We have gotten your directive, your presidential directive, Mr. President, to change the way we draft some of these agreements. Learned colleagues, we will no longer put London.
In line with Arbitration Act No. 19 of 2000, the Lusaka International Arbitration Center was recognized as an arbitration institution.
Now, therefore, in exercise of the powers contained in the Act, the Lusaka International Arbitration Center is hereby recognized within Zambia as an arbitral institution, made at Lusaka this 5th day of April 2024, and signed by me, Mulambo Haimbe, State Council, MP, Minister of Justice.
Vupe Sendofozanis in Lusaka.
And President Hakainde Hichilema has called for continental cooperations in the fight against graft. President Hichilema states that regional collaboration strengthens the collection capacity to fight corruption and foster a culture of integrity and good governance across borders. He says corruption erodes a country of the much-needed resources for economic development, hence the need to fight it at all costs. The president said this at State House when a delegation from the African Parliamentary Against Corruption, led by its president, who is also Speaker of the Benin Parliament, called on him. Kalan Muchima has the rest of the story.
President Hakainde Hichilema says corruption is a cancer that ought to be fought relentlessly as it negates economic progress in any country. President Hichilema said this at State House when a delegation from the African Parliamentarian Network Against Corruption, APNAC, led by its president, who is also Speaker of the Benin Parliament, Louis Vlanon, called on him.
We all have to fight corruption. Corruption is a menace. Corruption takes away resources meant for school children to stay in school longer, a girl child, a boy child. Corruption takes away, medicines from the sick and basically from the less privileged members of society. But overall, really, corruption is something that we abhor as a government. And I'll just explain one or two things we've done since we took office 2.5 years ago.
President Hichilema has since advised parliamentarians to collectively work together in enacting laws that strengthen the fight against corruption.
We declared our position when we were still in opposition, which we have retained since we assumed office, that we will fight corruption in a professional manner without being selective, corruption of the past, corruption of the present, corruption into the future. It's all corruption. We would like Parliament to take its rightful role in the fight against corruption, working with the executive, working with the judiciary, depending on the structure of government that we're talking about. But generally, these three arms of government, Mr. President, ought to work together.
And Home Affairs and Internal Security Minister Jack Mwimbo said the fight against corruption in Zambia has been intensified by way of strengthening reforms aimed at fighting graft.
I would like to confirm that the fight against corruption has been accelerated pursuant to the enactment of Parliament to ensure that the rules of procedure are implemented, to ensure that the processes of concluding cases are enhanced. I'm happy to report, Mr. President, that yesterday, without going in detail, our teams that are fighting corruption in this country went out to inspect various properties that have been seized by the law enforcement agencies. The properties that have been seized, Mr. President, are worth millions of dollars, including cash.
Speaking earlier, Mr. Vlano commended President Hakainde Hichilema's resilience in fighting corruption.
We are very aware of the efforts and support from the government to establish SAPNAC. This is momentous and historic since APNAC was formed in 1999 in Kampala, and that this SAPNAC is now being formed in Lusaka, and this should be seen as an honor of your leadership, Mr. President.
The APNAC delegation was at State House to brief the President on the creation of the Southern African Parliamentarians Network Against Corruption, SAPNAC, aimed at fighting corruption within the Southern African region. The meeting was also attended by APNAC Zambia Chapter Chairman Mao Sampa and APNAC members from Zimbabwe, Malawi, and Benin. Kalan Muchima, reporting for Zanis in Osaka.
Construction of Kagoro Police Post at a cost of over 8,000 kwacha under the 2022 Constituency Development Fund in Chieftainess Kawaza's chiefdom has advanced. Speaking when he toured the facility, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Garin Kombo, says government is committed to ensuring that law and order is restored, maintained and upheld in the country. Here is a report.
Law and order is the bedrock of sustained and steady development. The more recent government has prioritized the construction of a police post in Kagoro area of Katete district. Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Garin Kombo, toured the facility.
The President, at the time when we were given the privilege to run the affairs of this country, was very clear, because it manifested in our campaign promise that we want to be elected on the ticket of restoration of law and order. Now, without facilities such as this, a police station, there's simply no way you can achieve that law and order, because police is meant to police the community, to whip them in line, to make sure that the laws established are respected, and where there is no police, where there is no traditional leadership, where there is no, brother's keeper, nothing will work.
And the local authority highlighted the value the facility will bring to the area.
There are a number of cases that are not being reported to the police because of what? Lack of the police post, lack of officers. By constructing this, it will reduce on crime rates, it will reduce on gender violence. Our mothers are being beaten without being reported. Our children are being violated, and there are so many things that normally happen. So we appreciate to the government and also to His Excellency that is spending all his timeless, bring money to the community.
Earlier, the minister inspected the construction works of the Chief's Palace, where the traditional leadership appreciated government for its resolve to take development to the grassroots. Hope Walia, Katete District, Eastern Province.
In education news, Lusaka Central Constituency Member of Parliament, Mulambo Haimbe, has handed over desks and mattresses to David Kaunda Secondary and Woodlands B Primary Schools, procured using the Constituency Development Fund, CDF. Mr. Haimbe, who is also Minister of Justice, says government will continue allocating part of CDF to the education sector in order to improve the quality of education for learners across the country. Details in the following report.
Lusaka Central Member of Parliament Mulambo Haimbe, who is also Justice Minister, has handed over 400 mattresses worth 421,200 desks to David Kaunda Technical School. Mr. Haimbe, who also handed over 200 desks to Woodlands B Primary School, said government is committed to providing quality education for learners in all schools using the constituency development funds.
Our focus appears to have been on school-related activity. That is deliberate, because as the New Dawn government, we all know that for us to be able to make the progress that we have made in life, in different stages of life, at various levels, is through the intervention of school in one way or the other. And so that is why you have seen this focus on education-related activities.
Head teachers at David Kaunda, Maureen Tonga, and Mwelwa Nirenda from Woodlands B described the gesture as timely and life-changing for the learners.
We are grateful to His Excellency, the President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, for attaching great importance to quality education. And therefore, we shall always do what is required for us to support the President. His continued support to the education sector is most appreciated by everyone. We have grants to the education sector that are delivered on time, and we are using them to the good purpose. We talk about the desks. We have managed to sit our children comfortably.
So excited and very happy as a school to have this time that our minister have come to launch the 200 double-seater desks that has been given to us by the listening government through our minister. These gestures actually come at the right time when the desks were really needed by our learners.
And acting Lusaka Province Education Officer Mtinta Mbanga was also on hand to share her thoughts.
I want to further appreciate you, Honourable Minister and MP, for actually prioritizing education project like this one. CDF is not meant for education alone. It is meant for all the needs in the constituency. The CDF committee would have chosen to use this money on a market, on a road, or anything else you could think about. But they decided to prioritize the procurement of mattresses for you, dear learners. A big hand to our Honourable Minister.
The 400 desks are the final batch from a consignment of 1,100 desks procured at a cost of over 1,300,000 for various schools within Luwa Ward that have since been distributed. Ntazanga Mumba for Zanis in Lusaka.
Still in education news, Lusaka Province Minister Shao Muliata says government appreciates the partnership with different stakeholders in providing quality education. Ms. Muliata says government is implementing policies aimed at increasing access to education, especially in rural communities. The provincial minister was speaking during the official opening of the Bent Vas Bender School in Lufunsa district. Details in the following report.
Government has continued to work with other stakeholders in providing education in the country. In Lufunsa district, Tabitha Global Care Zambia and its partner, Tabitha Global Care Germany, have constructed Bent Fast Bender Combined Secondary School to help provide quality education in the area. Speaking during the official opening of the private-owned school, Lusaka Province Minister Shao Muliata is elated with the gesture.
Government is implementing policies aimed at increasing access to education as a key driver in developing human capital. Therefore, we encourage all our partners to support this government in promoting training programs and investments in technical and vocational skills that promote self-employment. Self-employment, especially among the youths, in an effort to achieve universal access to education as imposed by the Vision 2030 and the Sustainable Development Goals.
And Lufunsa District Commissioner urged the community members to guard the school jealously.
Let's we protect this school so that our children can benefit from whatever they're going to get from here.
The school executive director says the school is also targeting the boy child to deter them from bad vices.
We are strategically targeting the boy child as well because we feel that we have advocated for a girl child and the girls are rising and we have seen a lot of boys turn into junks and we want to change that story. We want to change that narrative.
Efforts by several stakeholders to supplement government in various sectors should be commended. Evelyn Masialeti, reporting for Zanis in Lufunsa District, Lusaka Province.
World Vision Zambia has handed over 3 ablution blocks constructed at a cost of over 1 million kwacha to 3 schools in Chongwe District of Lusaka Province. The ablution blocks have been constructed at Katoba, Twikatane and Mulalika combined schools.
Good hygiene and sanitation infrastructure is critical to the performance of learners in both rural and urban schools in the country. In Chongwe District, World Vision Zambia is supplementing government efforts to enhance hygiene and sanitation standards in schools by constructing ablution blocks to ensure that children in the area use flushable waterborne toilets. The organization handed over 3 ablution blocks for Katoba Primary, Twikatane Primary and Mulalika Combined School to government at a cost of over 1,200,000 kwacha. Chongwa District Commissioner Dr. Evans Lupia, who officiated at the handover ceremony of the infrastructure, stated that the ablution blocks will motivate children to spend more time in their respective schools.
Access to improve sanitation facilities in schools is an enabler that contributes to school attendance and in the long run improves school performance. Once children have appropriate sanitation facilities, they are motivated to stay in school. As government, we are grateful to World Vision Zambia for your support to construct the Mulalika, Katoba, and Twikatane primary school ablution blocks.
World Vision Zambia sanitation and hygiene specialist Bridget Nzazi urged management at the 3 schools to give learners access to the toilets at all times.
World Vision Zambia would like to urge you to take good care of these ablution blocks by keeping them clean and open during the time that the learners are in school so that they can be accessed whenever the learners want to use them.
And the District Education Board Secretary's office thanked World Vision Zambia for its continued support towards improving sanitation and hygiene standards for children in schools.
World Vision Guest of Honor has been an all-weather partner. There are a lot of things that they have done in Chongwe. They've recognized the importance of having children, that are from ECE up to grade 4. This is a very important cadre that is able to transmit a lot of information concerning WASH and being able to change the perception that is there with regards to WASH in our communities.
Sheila Makosa, reporting for Zanis in Chongwe District.
The Road Development Agency, RDA, has recommended for a more detailed intervention to serve the Isoka Muyombe Road. Muchinga Province RDA Regional Manager Peter Sinkonde has explained that the entire base of the road has become too weak due to poor workmanship by the contractor, China Jinx, and project supervisor, Barry Zambia. Meanwhile, National Council for Construction NCC Executive Director Paul Makasa has wondered how shoddy works were allowed to go on, resulting in government losing huge sums of money on substandard projects. More in this report.
This is a road that costed the Zambian government way over 213 billion kwacha. The Isoka Muyombe Road in Muchinga Province, constructed in 2018, has given up, with RDA recommending a more detailed intervention to serve it.
Immediately after the contract was done, as we can see, the road is showing a lot of defects, and it seems the base is gone, and this is a great concern. Most of the section, it's the base which has been affected. As we can see, it is coming up and affecting the surface. So we need a more detailed intervention other than just pothole patching, where at least the whole section is ripped and the base is redone.
The National Council for Construction wonders how such shoddy works were allowed to continue.
What I'm seeing here with my eyes is the fact that it looks like they only got laterite and then they rammed it and poured bitumen on top. The road is beginning to show rutting. Even here, there's a lot of ruts. These bumps like this, unstable issues like this. It shows you that the road was not stabilized. And if it was not stabilized, for instance, even if it was stabilized, if the material used is not correct, how do you compact material like this? It's too big. You need the uniform grade of material to compact.
A further drive on this road reveals another sad reality of road flooding, making it even more vulnerable.
This same water which is now on the road becomes our enemy. If you have noted these bubbles, they are just showing you that water is now percolating into the base course. As a result, the base course will be weakened, and very soon we'll find potholes developing in this section.
This shows you a design failure. This shows you a consulting failure, because they could have just widened the culvert or the bridge under where we are standing, or lifted the road up so that the water passes under. Anything that, any road that allows water to come the way it's coming here, just know that you have no road.
China Jiangxi Corporation was the main contractor on this project, supervised by Bari Zambia, a company that also supervised the damaged Nakonde Mbala Road. Out of the total 160 kilometers stretch, only 65 kilometers was done. Currently, the Zambian government has released 5 million from the budget of 10 million for emergency repairs being done by RDA. Kalan Muchima, reporting for Zanis on the Isoka Muyombe Road.
Minister of Health Sylvia Masebo has commissioned the over 1.5 million United States dollars Mungule Mini Hospital in Chibombo District of Central Province. Ms. Masebo says the facility is in line with government's vision of taking healthcare services closer to the people to ensure the attainment of universal health coverage. She said the modern state-of-art facility will enhance the provision of healthcare services in Chibombo District and particularly Katuba constituency and Mungule chiefdom. Details in the following report.
The government has continued to prioritize equitable provision of quality healthcare services. In this, the government has opened Mungule Min Hospital in Chibombo District of Central Province to the public. Officially gracing the historical event, Health Minister Sylvia Masebo says it is now government policy that each district should have a district hospital.
It is not the Minister Masebo. There is already now a policy in place that we must construct these facilities by government and even by the MP through the CDF funds, so that by the end of the 2 term for President Hakainde Hichilema, all the 116 districts will have proper district hospitals. All the wards will have health centers which have maternity wings. That is his vision.
This is Masebo as a word of counsel to the staff and the members of the public.
Facility has a community-centric approach. It is a place where healing happens. I'd like to urge our health workers employed at this facility to ensure personalized and holistic care for our patients.
Meanwhile, Katuba constituency member of parliament, Mwabashike Nkulukusa, is full of praises for President Hakainde Hichilema.
Was talking about a real man, the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, His Excellency, for fulfilling most of the promises that he makes. Please deliver our heartfelt gratitude to the President for keeping his promises.
And speaking on behalf of Chieftainess Mungule, former Katuba lawmaker Jonas Shakafuswa appealed to the government to construct a mortuary at the facility.
We've got land here, and maybe we look into putting a mortuary facilities so that it lessens the burden of people incurring costs to go to take the body and then bring in the body back for burial.
Mungule Min Hospital has a catchment population of 185,000 people. Reporting for Zanis in Chibombo District.
In health news, government has secured funding through the World Bank to create additional blood inventory hubs in the country. Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary Christopher Simonga says each province will have 2 blood inventory hubs. That is in line with government's policy on decentralization. He was speaking during a 3-day media workshop on blood donation in Chongwe. More in the following report.
A ray of hope to the Zambia National Blood Bank Transfusion Service is on the horizon as it embarks on a nationwide media training workshop on the importance of blood donation. This is in view of its renewed goal of ensuring that blood and its product is available as much as possible to all citizens when need arises. As President Hakainde Hichilema decreed recently that no mother should die of maternal complications, blood and its product is a bearing factor used to save the many expectant mothers. To achieve this, the Zambia National Blood Bank Transfusion Service has identified the media as a key partner in creating awareness in donating blood.
When we go to the donors, we ask them to volunteer to give blood altruistically, meaning deep down within their heart to share a part of themselves because they know that they're going to save someone's life. Now, if you translate that noble, cause into a commercial transaction, it defeats the purpose, and it creates finger pointing. I'm just suspecting that blood service were involved in that. We categorically state that no, we're a government institution. It's a security issue. It's an issue of national integrity, and the government policy is really to make sure that all deserving Zambians get this life-saving product. Of course, the gaps are there, shortages are there, but don't take advantage of this deficit, which we will try to meet with the current investment that the new Dawn government has put into, which is unprecedented in all the years that we've been practicing blood services. The year that we've seen an unprecedented investment in the blood service, and also the blood service being identified as a priority at the high level, at presidential level. The president himself committing himself to identifying blood transfusion as a priority because it's directly linked to the saving of mothers who are in need of blood transfusion during childbirth complications.
To achieve this, the government, through the Ministry of Health, has come up with a number of strategies to address many challenges facing the ZNBTS. One of these is communication strategy that aims at creating capacity building towards making Zambia self-sufficient in blood that will result particularly in the reduction of maternal mortality rates and generally improving the quality of health service in the country.
In collaborative fashion, the Health Promotions Unit of the Ministry of Health, the Zambia National Blood Transfusion Service, and the PDU have crafted a communication strategy as a comprehensive, sustainable way of publicizing the importance of blood donation throughout the country. Zeroing in on the communication strategy, the communication strategy aims at capacity building towards making Zambia self-sufficient in blood and blood resulting in maternal mortality rates reduction, infant mortality rates reduction, and generally improving on support to all clinical practice in Zambia.
Meanwhile, Alfred Sakuya, Delivery Manager, Enhanced Public Service Presidential Delivery Unit, says the unit has a crucial mission to ensure an adequate supply and accessible blood service for all Zambians.
Guest of honor, His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema, in his vision of a healthier Zambia, has entrusted the Presidential Delivery Unit with a crucial mission of working around colleagues to ensure that we have an adequate supply and an accessible blood service for all the Zambians. The initial area of focus that the PDU has been working on has primarily been in the area of maternal health, around which we understand the very important role that the blood supply, blood transfusion service.
President Hakainde Hichilema's decree of ensuring that there's no maternal deaths in the country can only be achieved, among others, if there is available blood and its byproducts. Therefore, citizens are advised to ensure that they donate blood with a zero charge. Precious Piri reporting for Zanis.
Health news continues. Permanent Secretary in charge of administration in the Office of the Vice President, Lilian Kapusana, says the country has been grappling with malnutrition, especially undernutrition, for decades. Ms. Kapusana, who is also the Vice Chairperson for the National Nutrition Coordination Committee, NNCC, says malnutrition in any form can result in ill health, impaired vision, and mental development in affected individuals. The Permanent Secretary was speaking when she officially opened a two days workshop on the first 1,000 most critical days project held in Kabwe Central Province.
Nutrition is one of the public health issues we have been grappling with as a country for decades. We also know that malnutrition, in whatever form, can result in ill health and impaired physical and mental development. Additionally, malnutrition has a negative impact on individuals' immunity, thereby reducing one's ability to fight and recover from illnesses. Of Zambia has a vision to become a prosperous middle-income nation by the year 2030. The government demonstrated its willingness to scaling up multi-sectoral nutrition interventions when it joined the global Scaling Up Nutrition movement way back in 2010. The government is aware that the Scaling Up Nutrition program in the 17 UNICEF-supported districts will conclude district-level implementation in June 2024. The leadership of the DAO as District Nutrition Coordinating Committee Chair is critical and very critical. It's critical towards ensuring that gains made during the program implementation since early 2017 are sustained and there is continuity fully supported.
Now in agriculture news, Lusaka Province Permanent Secretary Robert Kamalata has launched the emergency drought response enumeration exercise in Kafiwe district. The aim of the exercise is to enlist more beneficiaries on the social cash transfer program in response to the drought that has affected most parts of the country. Details in the following report by Irene Nganga.
Ministry of Community Development and Social Services, launch of rapid emergency response enumeration.
Lusaka Province Permanent Secretary Robert Kamalata has flagged off the emergency drought response enumeration exercise in Kafiwe district. The exercise will see more vulnerable households enlisted on the social cash transfer program. Mr. Kamalata reaffirmed government's commitment to ensuring that no one dies of hunger as a result of the drought that affected most parts of the country.
Of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema has declared this year a national disaster. Why has he declared? So that we can have other stakeholders and other agencies coming to our rescue.
Kafiwe Town Council Chairperson Bumba Malambo commended the government for the initiative. She says the cash transfer program has transformed many lives of people in the district.
Let me mention that the exercise is well placed as the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services has continued to improve the well-being of incapacitated and vulnerable households, which includes individuals, families, and communities through the provision of well-targeted and coordinated social welfare services.
And one of the enumerators, Douglas Mbokoma, urged his fellow enumerators to be professional when executing their duties.
This enumeration, guest of honor, is unique in that it will help gather data that will inform the government and partner organizations' development of shock response interventions that will lead to the creation of a comprehensive national social register.
Irene Nganga, Zanis News, Kafiwe District.
The Ministry of Community Development and Social Services in Lukulu District of Western Province has commenced the Rapid Assessment and Enumeration Exercise Response exercise. This exercise is meant to identify farmers that are affected by the severe dry spell triggered by the El Nino effects. More in the following report.
The Ministry of Community Development and Social Services in Lukulu District has commenced the rapid assessment and enumeration exercise of shock-affected poor and vulnerable households due to the effects of the dry spell experienced in all the 17 wards in the district. Speaking during a radio sensitization program, Lukulu District Social Welfare Officer Namakao Kashina said her team is already on the ground.
So we are here to sensitize to the community, the entire district. This program is not only happening in Lukulu, it's happening countrywide in the 16th district to respond to the shock or the dry spell that has hit the country. The president has declared the country to be a national disaster. Hence, there are interventions that are put in place, like the same program that you are here for, the shock response, to cushion on these shocks that people are in countrywide.
Among of the objectives of these assessments are to accurately identify vulnerable households affected by the drought and collect data that may contribute to the development of the comprehensive national social registry.
We are conducting a rapid assessment and enumeration to vulnerable households that are affected by this dry spell. The assessment is it will help the government the decision makers to have a database or to gather data that will inform the government and other partners organizations in the development of the shock response interventions and development of resources and other aid that will be required.
Rita Kabindama, Zanis, Lukulu District, Western Province.
Zambia Development Agency Director General Albert Halwampa says the 50 billion United States dollars committed investments accumulated over the past 3 years are being actualized and contributing to the expansion of the gross domestic product, GDP. He has cited United Capital Fertilizer as one of the committed investments which has been actualized with an investment portfolio of 900 million United States dollars. Mr. Halwampa was speaking when he and his members of staff toured United Capital Fertilizer to check on the extent of the investment in Lusaka. Sande Bwalia now reports.
Zambia Development Agency Director General Albert Halwampa says the 50 billion United States dollars committed investments accumulated over the past 3 years are being actualized and contributing to expansion of the gross domestic product. He cited United Capital Fertilizer as one of the committed investments which has been actualized with an investment portfolio of $900 million.
Thank you to the United Capital Fertilizer for this massive investment that is adding a lot of value to the economic growth of the country. I'd also like to take this opportunity to inform you that for the past 2.5 years, the Zambia Development Agency has issued investment licenses amounting to close to $50 billion. And that's remarkable. That is unprecedented. And the question everybody asks whenever we pronounce those huge figures, billions, probably the highest figure in the past 2.5 years compared to the last 13 or 12 years that the Zambia Development Agency has issued from its existence. And everybody asks to say, where are these billions that you keep pronouncing every day? So we are here today at the United Capital Fertilizer Company just to demonstrate to the Zambian people that the billions we keep announcing based on the investment licenses that the Zambia Development Agency issues are real projects. And we want to take this moment as the ZDA to thank His Excellency, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, the President of the Republic of Zambia, who is the Chief Marketing Officer, for a lot of work that he's done in the past 2 years to promote trade and investment for Zambia.
And Wonderful Group Deputy Group Chief Executive Officer Roy Mwamba thanked Zambia Development Agency for the sound working relationship with United Capital Fertilizer.
Our journey has been a journey of trust and support, because when we first approached the ZDA to apply for investment licenses, and I think there were a lot of skepticism, as DG has said. Most people, I think, out there feel the numbers that ZDA talk about are just fictitious. And even when we were saying we are applying for the investment license, I think no one believed us. But we are thankful to ZDA because you trusted us and you supported us. And DG, just to maybe validate the figures that you are mentioning, our combined investment is 888, roughly about $900 million. And so far, we have spent about 548, about $550 million in the investment. The compound fertilizer that most of the people out there know has been upgraded as well. We have a second phase, which is scheduled to come online next month.
United Capital Fertilizer Commercial Manager Dexter Mkandawire also shared his thoughts.
Even for fertilizer plant, also you have seen we've increased capacity now to 700,000 because the old one is 400,000 metric tons, and then the new one is 300,000, so making 700,000. And then the good thing with the new one again is that, you know, as it was already alluded to at the factory, that it will be able to produce customized fertilizers.
For Zanis in Osaka, I am Sunday Warrior.
Now, commemorations to mark the 22nd anniversary of the signing of the Luena Memorandum in Luena city of Moxico province in Angola and its diasporas in other countries was held yesterday at the Angolan Consulate General's office. More in the following report.
Zambia believes that peace or instability in Angola is equally peace or instability in Zambia, as the two countries share similar cultural values and communities, except that they are separated by an imaginary boundary that was created by the former colonialists. In this regard, the Zambian government played a crucial role in facilitating peace and stability in Angola, not only by hosting refugees, but also by mediating talks between the warring factions. Western Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Richard Mwanda represented the provincial administration at the commemoration of the 22nd anniversary of the signing of the Luena Memorandum.
22 years down the line, as Zambia, we celebrate the peace in Angola because it means a lot to us. We did not read on paper the effects of that 27-year-long armed conflict, but we lived with its effects. Our brothers and sisters were here with us in Nangweshi, Mangango, and Maheba. We cried together when we had to. We shared the little food we had with them. So it's only fair that we celebrate good times together just as we shared the bad times.
Angolan Consular General Gaudino Kangombe gave a brief overview of the war that prevailed in Angola and thanked the Zambian government for the role it played to bring calm to that country.
In the last 63 years, our country has been at war for 41 years. Those were moments of blood, sweat, and tears that Angolan people had to face. However, nothing is more important than the peace and national reconciliation achieved by the Angolans on April 4th, with historic support from several nations, including the Republic of Zambia, which welcomes us today. On behalf of all Angolans residing in the province, particularly the Angolan community that took refugees in this country, since the descent here of 1966, I offer my sincere thanks to the Zambian people and their government for the hospitality and cordiality towards we offered.
The event was characterized with a brief documentary on the development going on in Angola, drama performances, beverages, and a buffet. Ikacha Nasindala, Zanis in Mongu District, Western Province.
We end the news on a sad note where 6 people who died in the Chipili Road accident on Monday have today been put to rest at Mansa Council Cemetery in Mansa District of Luapula Province. Government has since come to render support to the bereaved families. Here is a report.
In their hundreds, Mansa residents have come to pay their last respects to 6 people that died in the Chipili Road accident, which happened on Monday, April. Those being put to rest are Hilda Piri, 64, Sylvia Katebe, 17, Grace Mlenga, 32, Mary Mushikita, 14, Stephen Chisala, 44, and Hardwell Mwansa, 44. A funeral of this magnitude cannot go unnoticed by government, as officials were at hand to render support to the bereaved families.
Ife ngo muteko pali ama measures ya moyamo ayo twala taking pakwe bati ama accidents ayo ngata prevent ngo muteko wala isha ubita prevent muno tuli mu mansa abengi balefa kuma wenda ngama hospital mesanga bengi n'abakwata sana filondo mulando akwe bati ama traffic rules tatule yakonka.
The church too was there to console and give hope to mourners.
Children of God, when a human being is lost in the sin which is there in this world, God does not just leave you just to go and wander just like that. He gives you the light. The book of Psalms tells me, your word is a lamp to my feet, a light to my path.
The bereaved families have thanked government for the support that has been rendered to them to give the departed relatives a befitting send-off.
Tuli mubulanda ng'olupwa ku mulandu wakwe bati twafumine ffe mu kushika nakabiri twakwata amalwere kairine efiriro na fimbi ng'olupwa lumo lwini olwaba Victor Muwewa ileero olupwa lumo lwini kuno kumanda tuleshika abantu batatu elufuti natukwata mu lupwa lumo lwine n'abalwere okukirana mu 35 kanshi amashuwine efi yakukita nakitupe kyamaano okutashokalamba sana kubuteeko kwena kwabula obuteeko nga tapali efotwinga kitana mufu amafya napendawira
etasha kuli ba PS pamutima balangire kuntanshi Yesu fwe wakwete figiro fibiri tabi tufinina umba inembe nako mbali shibiri pamoja tukwete umwa ichi bantu n'omukalamba umba mulanga butira obuteeko bwa Saiposa watu wamushako sana watu lemboko shine obuteeko.
In times like this, one can only say, may their souls rest in peace. Betre Bakatebe reporting for Zanis News in Mansa District in Wapla Province.
As we end the news, a recap of stories that made headlines. President Hichilema has called for concerted efforts in fighting corruption. RDA concerned with poor workmanship on Isoka Muyombo Road. Zambia Development Agency expresses happiness with 50 billion investment, plus 6 Mansa accident victims put to rest. That is all we had for you on Zanis News. On behalf of the entire Zanis production team, this has been Faith Katai. Thank you for watching.